The following is a production of the University of Minnesota, driven to discover.
Hi, this is David Arendale, your host for the Peer Assisted Learning Groups podcast. Thanks for spending some time with us today. In this podcast episode, we have a conversation with Vicenta, who leads the program at Florida International University that hosts the campus tutoring and small group program. We began our conversation with an overview of the academic support program and how it adapted to online services during the COVID pandemic. Then the conversation turned to certification programs that have guided the student support programs. We ended our conversation with Vicenta sharing her life journey to her current position at FIU, and then the lessons that she is learning in her doctoral program that are informing and improving the services that are offered to the students at her institution. In addition to this audio episode, I also provide a PDF document that provides an overview of Florida International University. Well, let's listen in on our conversation. Well, hi, everyone. Glad to have you here for another episode of the podcast series. We're at Florida International University, and we are with Vicenta, and she's going to tell us about her program that she manages there at Florida, and we had a chance to have a conversation. So welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much, Dr. Arendale. It really is a pleasure to be able to sit and speak with you about, our work at the Center for Academic Success in Miami.
Well, why don't you tell us a little bit about your program? Take a couple of minutes. As I read the description, it was quite a comprehensive program.
The Center for Academic Success is housed at two of our campuses, actually. Florida International University has a variety of campuses in South Florida, as well as a campus in China for hospitality management. We have our learning centers are located in the North Miami Beach campus, what we call the Biscayne Bay campus, which is a beautiful scenery. And then we also have our center located at the Modesto Maidic campus, which was named after one of our former university presidents, Modesto Maidic. And that is our main campus. FIU is named a Hispanic serving institution. Almost 70% of our student body is Hispanic, and we are the sixth largest university by size. We have over 55,000 students enrolled at FIU, and we try to service as much as possible scope of classes. We offer individual tutoring. Currently, our tutoring is completely remote. We made the transition, like so many universities and colleges did last year, around the Ides of March. So about March 13th, we all went completely remote. We were so impressed with the level of collaboration and just stick-to-itiveness, and let's make this happen from our staff, our full-time staff, as well as our part-time staff, which is our tutors, and our front desk staff, which is also made up of student employees. Our individual sessions are currently held via Zoom, and there's two ways that our students can make appointments for that. They can email us directly at CFAS, C as in center, F as in four, academic success, AS, at FIU.edu. And then we also have an internal program that we use called the Panther Success Network, PSN, which is a branded version of the Educational Advisory Board. I know that there are several universities, at least in the state of Florida, that also use EAB. And of course, they brand it based on what their university would like to brand it as. We also have drop-in tutoring, which also takes place via Zoom. Students are able to take a look at our website, cfas.fiu.edu, and they can take a look at the variety of days and times and courses that are available. We have a reading and learning program that is designed specifically to teach students anywhere from what we call content area literacy skills to disciplinary literacy skills. That program predominantly works with what we call gateway courses, like General Bio 1, General Bio 2, and the lab sections that are associated with that. And the content in the workshops that are delivered within the reading and learning program are intended to teach first-year students college readiness skills, literacy strategies to be able to study, whether it's using a textbook for their classes. We have several faculty members who do not use a textbook. Instead, they rely on their own, personally developed content that they have for their courses. And we are trying to to help our students mitigate that, and especially within this context of remote learning. We have study groups, what we call our study halls, where let's say we have students who, there's 5 or 6 of them who they just came out of their physics class and that was a rough class session. And so they really just, could use some time to be able to meet with one of our tutors and talk about what was just going on in class. And so we do have those small group sessions. And then we have our learning strategies workshop, what the faculty love to call TLC. We like to say it's tender loving care, but it's just their nickname for us, the Learning Center. The Center for Academic Success never really took off with the faculty in that respect, but they love to refer to those workshops as TLC. And what those are intended are to be learning strategies workshops, and whether that means content area literacy skills or disciplinary literacy skills, or even just specific strategies how to be successful in those courses. And those workshops are offered for courses like general biology that I had mentioned before, general chemistry, organic chemistry, physics, our research methods for psychology course. That's pretty much CFAS in a nutshell. And then we often, what we call ourselves at the Center for Academic Success is CFAS.
I was intrigued by a lot of things that you just shared. Due to our time, I'll just pick one question. It sounds like your study group are formed organically. Students come out of class sessions and then they may go as a small group for a tutor and create a session. Did I understand that correctly?
Yeah, so we'll have this. We saw this more often pre-COVID, and I'm sure will take place post-COVID once we start coming back to campus. We'll have students who, yeah, they come in and say, we aren't able to all make an appointment at the same time because the wait is very long. Can a group of us meet with a tutor? And so when we see that need comes up, then we facilitate that. We make that available for students. So yes, that does happen organically. Or we already have scheduled study hall sessions on our tutoring schedule, and we advertise that information for students so they are aware that, let's say there are a group of them who come and they already know that on a Thursday afternoon this is available for them to come and take advantage of the help, then they can do that too.
Well, you have maximum flexibility with this approach. I was just curious, is there any external influences on how the program is managed and grows? Like, for example, is there any certification programs that your center has earned from any of the professional associations? Or is it just simply based off of best practices that you've read in the professional literature?
So it's a mixture of everything. We certainly strive to achieve certification level 1, level 2. We're actually in the process of getting our application together to recertify for the level 1 and level 2 College Reading and Learning Association. Haven't gotten the level 2 yet, but we're in the process of trying to recertify for level 1. And so the outline of what CRLA is able to provide is a great resource, especially because the staff here at the Center for Academic Success not only trains our tutors at our house, but it also trains the tutors at our Student Athlete Academic Center and some other tutoring areas across our campus that are intended to target specific cohorts of students. And then, of course, we have for our full time staff, many of us are currently in graduate programs ourselves. I'm a doctoral candidate in the Language Literacy and Culture program here at FIU. A few of our other full time staff members, they're currently pursuing either their master's or their doctoral degrees specific to the areas that they work with, whether it's mathematics, higher education, coaching, literacy.
Well, let's go ahead as we're moving towards the end of our short conversation to you. And that would be, why did you decide to work in higher education? And how did you path your way in to this position?
Well, interestingly enough, it was the scope of how reading was taught within the public school system. Before I came to FIU, I was a high school reading teacher in Miami-Dade County Public Schools. Miami-Dade County is the fourth largest school district in the country. And so there you learn a great deal about data-driven instruction and differentiated instruction and even direct instruction. And one of the things that, was interesting, there were these great plans that we wanted to implement with Miami-Dade County Public Schools, but it was very difficult given the sheer size. And so looking at how my students, whether they were ninth graders through 12th graders, did they really carry those skills through? And after 10 years of of serving as a high school teacher, I thought, let's see how this carries through into higher ed. And so one day I was just looking at what was available at FIU, and they said, we need someone who, has served in a capacity of a reading teacher or reading coach. And that's also what I did when I was at the high school I taught at. And they said, no way do they need a reading coach. This is higher ed. And so I was speaking with the director of the Learning Center at the time, and she says, yeah, we're really looking for someone to develop this aspect of our tutoring program. And here I am.
Well, it's always a fascinating path that we're all on. Um, well, let's kind of focus on you again, and that is how are you changing personally or professionally because of this new role at Florida?
Oh my goodness. I think this experience, this whole doctoral it has been a revelation. So many aspects of whether it was theoretical, getting to know myself, being self aware of what my worldviews are, getting to know really a far more developed repertoire of being able to teach students to become more literate, especially going into this field of disciplinary literacy. When I was a high school teacher, I had no idea what, and then I came into higher ed and started the doctoral program. I first started as in the higher ed program, and then I realized I really still enjoy literacy. I want to continue doing this, especially as I was working with tutors in chemistry, organic chemistry, physics. My own dissertation right now is focused on the literacy processes for organic chemistry learners. I'm looking at how visualization, something called representational competence, is developed. And the goal at the end of the day, after I, analyze the data and conduct I'm doing a discourse analysis, is to see what can we do to refine these processes or even be more aware of them in order for our tutors to be better trained in how to help these students. Because if our tutors are better aware of how they are learning, they can certainly share that information with the students we're serving. So I really do feel like my work as the director at the Center for Academic Success is definitely entangled with my own learning as a doctoral student.